If you pay real close attention to these big meetings that have been happening, like Davos, and what they're talking about and how they're highlighting B2B is very similar to what we've been talking about, right? B2B is trillions of dollars. Now, what are they saying about B2B payments, cross-border, internal, etc.? They don't have the proper technology to do that. Now, who has been at the forefront of meeting with companies? Who's been at the forefront of B2B technology? It's just cross-border technology outright. You got a few companies. You got Ripple, you have SBI, you have the whole XRPL. Just put all those companies together. You have Quant, you have Chainlink, you have Solana, you have these top companies involved. But let's stick with the XRPL. They're the best of the best. And right now, if you're reading the documents that are coming out about what B2B wants, what it requires to thrive in the future, all that equals to a bunch of value coming in to the DLT system. And these protocol, which are not matched by anything exploding in price. They're talking about they need DLT technology, one. They need AI, which we know is going to be combined with DLT, right? And then far into the future, of course, we saw a few, not many. We saw a few articles about quantum computing now, which confirmed what we were thinking from years ago. We were talking about quantum computing when we were seeing what IBM was doing with quantum computing, because let's keep it real, they were some of the first, okay? And they were deep into DLT at that time. But there's another thing that they're burying and people need to keep in mind. Now, why am I here, right? Now, listen, I'll take all the rest of that value coming in. I'll take all the rest of that money that's going to flood into chain. No problem. That's beautiful. But I'm here for that bank money. You know what's strange? I want to ask you a question. Why is it for the last 3 weeks? I know crypto's been exploding. There's hot topics out there where maybe something like this might not take precedent over them. But isn't the banking industry having thousands, right? We can talk about this now. It's been a long time since the multiple documents came out talking about this. Then we saw one document that was very, very manipulative. We'll talk about that in a moment, okay? Because they're trying to bury this. Listen, folks, there's a reason why they're pushing all of this stuff to clear the way for the banks. Right now, I think the people are just benefiting, if I can use the word vicariously, it's just they have to allow the people to thrive or the people will stand in their way. So that's why a lot of retail investors are going to benefit. But they've been clearing the way. Look at what the FDIC, now everything's shifting with the FDIC. So before they oppressed the DLT systems, now they're going to unleash it. Look what's happening with the regulatory agencies like SEC. They used to oppress the banking system. Now they're going to unleash it. Before, they weren't allowing them to use DLT. Why? I'm telling you, let's pay attention to this. This, in my humble opinion, not financial advice, this is where that big explosion is going to come in. That's really going to catch people by surprise because they're not thinking about this. And I get it. I can respect that. There's, like I said, there's hot news out there. You got a life to live, but I'm putting it on the table right here. So the bank, they're clearing the way for the banks. The banks. So we read about 2 to 3 documents. This is about maybe 2-3 months ago, okay? I put them on the screen, everything the members know, where they showed thousands, folks, thousands of banks are in trouble. And guess what? Obviously, they have some good money floating around to keep things quiet. If not, then why isn't everybody talking about that? You and I know the banking system is terrible. But why isn't any of the other media, and I'm not talking about independent media, but the mainstream media not covering that at all? Why? Because if you know what the problem is and you can find the remedy, you obviously know the remedy is going to make a lot of money. Now, who's in deep with the banks? Ripple? Why did they say last year they were so confident? Where does this confidence come from? Because not everybody just has that just willy-nilly. No, that's confidence when you have the CLO speak from Ripple, you have the CEO speak from Ripple, you have the president speak. That's confidence from having sat in meetings and knowing that things are locked up behind the scenes. You just know, right? You can't talk too much because there's NDAs, but you know. But why would they say last year that, we believe the banks are going to use XRP? That was the CLO. That's a lawyer. That's serious business. That's one. Then the president comes out and says, of Ripple comes out and says, we believe the banks will utilize XRP. It's made a variety of different statements. I'm paraphrasing, of course. Go look up these things for yourself. They're not difficult to find. Then you have Brad Garlinghouse, obviously very, very bullish on XRP. It's not just because they have XRP It's not just because XRP is the protocol that they use. And once again, a lot of other chains have native tokens that they've let die. And those other chains are major. Those other chains have worked with banks, and they don't even barely want to talk about their native cryptocurrency, right? So just because it's the native crypto of your chain, we've seen proof that it doesn't matter. So what's the difference between them and Ripple? Ripple obviously knows that XRP is the future, folks. There's nothing better than it right now. I mean, you have ones that may be equal to it. Like I could throw out a Chainlink, a Solana, an Algorand as far as technologically advanced, DLT systems. I could throw in there Quant, things like that. Very, very Theyre and Cardano, which is why they're all beginning to work together. You're seeing it. Now, they see an opportunity to absolutely dominate the banking system. Do people understand that could go from millions a day when they're testing, billions a day testing, then it could scale into trillions a day, which means quadrillions per year, and actually become a significant portion of the financial system in the West? That's possible. I'm not saying it's a guarantee. Maybe it doesn't happen. All right, to each his own. If you believe it's not going to happen, that's perfectly fine. I may believe opposite. I'm not saying it's 100% guaranteed. That's how I feel. I just think that that's a huge possibility because what technology is going to advance past DLT, which every few months they're making innovations. They're making pushes. We still, at least I haven't seen it. I still haven't seen an update from Ripple on when they said they were going to be implementing, advanced mechanisms from the XRPL. Do people understand if they do that, they're going to be so delicious to the banks that the banks almost have no choice but to use this technology. It's too cheap. It's too efficient. Now, if you look at some of the banks that have shown love to XRP, they've been in big trouble, folks. Let's keep it real. Just go on Google and type in Bank of America troubles or something like that. Look at the last few weeks of articles and look at the trouble Bank of America has been in. A lot of these banks have been in trouble. Why did HSBC, who also has worked with Ripple, why did HSBC all of a sudden shut down that little DLT? I don't know if it's their full program, but they shut down a piece of their program or something like that, or their full program. Why did they do that? Because they don't need it. No one around the world is going to use a JP Morgan based system just alone, or HSBC system. No, because they know that they're wildly controlled. Meanwhile, once again, and this is where it pays that Ripple, if they stay neutral. Did you see that last members only video? Make sure you watch that. I think that is very important. But staying neutral is where the big money is right now. If you're neutral, you're getting money from that side and this side. Why would this thing business-wise, why would I only want money from this side if I could dip my hands into both pots? I want some gold out this pot. I want some gold out of this pot. And Ripple, there's no doubt about it. They have to see that. And they can go by the mistakes and avoid the mistakes of their predecessors like Swift. Swift kneecapped themselves. All right? Sat themselves down by just trying to be a weapon for the West. And now they're going to have big problems. You got Russia trying to replace them. You have all over Asia trying to replace them, India trying to replace them, China trying to replace them, Southeast Asia trying to replace them. You have all these different systems trying to replace Swift. What's that tell you? What does that tell you? Then you look at Africa. Let's just take Africa and let's throw Latin America in there. Look how dominant the DLT companies have been. Now, hold on, because I know some people will say, well, you look at Brazil, Mick. We look at Brazil, and even though Ripple helped Brazil, one, Stellar helped Brazil, two, we don't see them directly being implemented. Those partnerships and handshakes mean something. Listen, let them build assist them in building their own systems, which is going to be vastly inferior. And one of the key ways this is vastly inferior is that they do not have global reach. Who's going to trust their system over their own system? No, let's hook up to one system that's going to check everybody and make sure everybody is doing things the right way and is fair across the board. And the neutral system will connect all these pieces. Being the neutral connector is where the big money, where the power is. And Ripple is there. Chainlink is there. Theyre is there. Algorand is there. They're there. And that's just a few. There's a lot of them, right? All right. So I just wanted to put that on your table because, man, things are happening so fast, folks. I think at some point it's going to be difficult to keep up with all the news. We'll do the best that we can, but hopefully if people really like research and they like good information, they share these types of things around. But that article that they were talking about Davos and the B2B is from payments.com. It's titled Davos Intelligent Age, quote unquote, Blueprint Highlights B2B Innovation. Okay. A lot of B2B articles been coming out the last month or two. So then let's talk about the big dog Bitcoin just for a little bit. So then you have articles like this popping up every single day. Yes, because we're in a bullish environment, but also there's something else that's going on here. Bitcoin could top $150,000 before retrace and repeat of 2017 cycle. Now 150,000 has been my number for Bitcoin for a long time, all right, that I think is going to reach. We'll see. I'm not a psychic, right? I'm not in control of Bitcoin, but pay attention to how they're using Bitcoin as a door opener. Pay attention to how they're using Bitcoin to condition the minds of the people. More and more, the mainstream media they're getting forced to cover Bitcoin. And much to their chagrin, right? I haven't used that word in years, chagrin, but much to their chagrin, because for years, they've been saying how Bitcoin is bad, is this, is that. They're calling it names. So now to cover it in a positive way, they sort of have to bite, they look like hypocrites, right? They have to just deal with that now they have to speak about it in a positive way. But they're conditioning the minds of the people every day that they're seeing Bitcoin doing well. The people are getting that negative mind state undone and a positive mind state instituted in that place of the negative that tells them Bitcoin is good. Bitcoin is a moneymaker. The volatility is not so bad. They're starting to see, as Bitcoin is becoming more popular, that the volatility, sure, it can go down dramatically, but it comes back up. You give it some time, it comes back up. And once again, the push for people to do their own research. I've seen people who don't even cover crypto, and they use that financial phrase, do your own research. Do your own research. They've been banging it into people's heads for like 2 years. People are learning. They're looking things up. AI. Although a lot of people take umbrage to AI, it has made it super easy for people to do research now. It's not like in my day, you had to you were either scouring through some books early on in life, or, you go in the library, you're just scouring through some books. That legit. Remember those days? Or, when you had to just use Google or Yahoo or Alta Vista. Yeah, remember that? Those basic search engines, which sometimes you really had to rack your brain to find stuff. But now with AI, people are able to research stuff very quickly. AI is bringing up multiples of articles. I wouldn't trust it 100%, to be honest. But, some people are using that. And it's been good to show people that research pays. So now that they're seeing that, hey, this volatility doesn't really last. Hey, Bitcoin is super bullish. Hey, nations want to use Bitcoin. Big money asset managers want to hold Bitcoin. And that's going to make the price pop. More and more people are going to pour into Bitcoin, and they're becoming conditioned. But conditioned for what? For crypto overall. I firmly believe, although, yes, people are going to, I believe, not financial advice, do what you want. But I believe people are going to make they already made a lot of good capital from Bitcoin. If they've been into Bitcoin from when it was very, very low in a bloody bear market and people thought it was dead, they're making some good gains already. I think a lot more people are going to make some pretty good gains. But they're going to get conditioned to have a respect for crypto, to have that realization that some crypto projects are legit, and they're going to look into other things. Now, what's next up the bat that's going to be getting spoken about by the mainstream media? That's how you know where the money is going to come in. That regular everyday Joe money is going to come into anything that's talked about on the news. Now, I know how some of you may feel, because I don't watch mainstream news almost at all, unless an independent journalist is talking about something the mainstream covered. That's really the only time. But a lot of other people still do take the regular news serious. So when they hear something like, oh, well, XRP may be next up, they're going to look into it. Oh, Solana may be next up. They're going to look into it. And that could bring a lot of capital. There's a lot of capital on the side from bottom to top to bottom. That could be huge, right? So could Bitcoin top $150,000? Could it retrace? Sure. Could it have a severe correction? Sure. Would I be worried at that time? Absolutely not. And I think a lot of people, not me, but I think a lot of, I'm going to say entities. I think the businesses mostly are going to do this. I'm telling you. I think when it has a severe correction, which will be highly manipulated, they'll bring the price down on purpose. I believe that those businesses, asset managers, will buy a lot of Bitcoin. They're expecting it to do astronomical numbers, but we will see, okay? But I think people are going to see that, and it's going to shock a lot of people. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the money.